of when I was fat, dumb, and happy, and not running 5, 6, 7 miles a day, I could put up with potbelly people barking at me, but I just am so aggressive right now that I just can't handle it. And I should be able to handle it. I'm sure I'll fly again soon. It's just that I've still got my humanity. And I know they're twerps working for people putting poison in our water. And it makes me really mad. The government is jacking the water with over 200 chemicals on average, and over 90% of the EPA's own scientists in 2000, 2004, 2006, and last year sent letters to their bosses saying mercury, lead, arsenic, hundreds of other chemicals, sodium fluoride, huge cancer increases, dental fluorosis, take it out. And they're told, shut up or you'll be demoted. I mean, it's not the government isn't even bad, the rank and file, it's the leadership of it. The leadership is a bunch of dirty eugenicists. And now they're getting to the open point of, we're going to sterilize you of your own welfare. Really, since the eugenicists brought out welfare, it's created the illegitimacy in the baby factories, which was actually part of their plan, to have a giant underclass that's dependent on them that they can engineer however they want and play off against the middle class and rich. But you notice they're forcing the rich to take vaccines to get into college. They're putting it in the rich people's water. The average good old boy worth $10 million didn't get a memo not to eat GMO. But I read the articles yesterday where the entire elite are on record will not eat GMO. The Monsanto cafeterias, it's come out in the news this week, have banned GMO because their own scientists will not eat it. And then I learned that just got leaked and confirmed that this has been going on for 12 years, since 1999. I found a London Independent article on it. Let me say that again. All these eugenicists, Bill Gates, Queen of England, who openly say they want to kill the majority of the population and who fund programs to make you eat GMO and not label it and make you take shots, are all on record developing things to be piggybacked on shots to sterilize you and give you cancer, and they won't eat their food or drink the fluoride water, and the German government won't take the vaccines. And their own military is given a, quote, clean vaccine. BBC, Associated Press. Can you put, it's not even 2 + 2 = 4. It is looking at the number 1 like a 2-year-old and saying 1. What letter is that? A. It's not even 2 + 2. It's not even 2 + 2. It's not even 2 + 2. It's not even 1 + 1. The globalists openly are killing us, and the cancer is exploding. Everything else is exploding. The UN's taking over. They're announcing world government publicly, and there are articles out today demonizing me, saying I'm insane, there's no new world order, no global government. I mean, that's mind control. Again, I want to say something to the military and the police that the system plans until they get all their drones and robots in place to be their enforcers. You're being killed. I see articles all the time where his mom thought, you know, Bill'd be safe joining the military at 18. He was just going to be in the maintenance of tanks and armored vehicles. But at 21, he died of lung cancer and kidney failure from DU. Even the doctors at the University Medical Center said it was DU. But the VA says it's not. The Pentagon never allowed the use of DU until 1990 because they'd have to throw away the tanks that used it. It ignites when you fire it. Why do they have the troops using it? You're all dead. I mean, do you get this is Armageddon in slow motion? This is mass extermination. This is a Holocaust against everyone. It's going on now, and they're now making their move everywhere, going, having kids is bad for your carbon footprint. We're going to tax you for having kids. We're going to home inspect you. You can't have a water well. We're going to put a meter on the well you already have. We're going to make you put fluoride tablets in it. Or we're going to shut down your well. The police are going to come. We're going to shut down the Amish. We're going to make you take vaccines. We're going to have your little kid, your 11 or 12-year-old have an abortion and not tell mommy, or have birth control tablets injected under their skin. They're making their move, folks. They're in the news all over the place saying sterilize people. All right. I'm done. I'm going to go to break and come back with your calls. I'm going to shut up. It's just, how do you have this information and not tell people? We told you they'd implode the world economy and set up global austerity, jacking up taxes, shutting everything down, and then people will beg even more for what crumbs are left. The government takes our money, gives it to mega banks, and uses the rest to social engineer us and tell us how to live our lives. It is so frustrating to watch these criminals get away with this. And it goes on and on and on. But all we've got to do is realize that 99.9% of us are under attack by this. And it's all an open conspiracy. But again, people are afraid to bring down the system. The globalists are already bringing down the old system to bring in a horrible new one. While it's in flux, while the new evil system's totally taking over, it's better to bring this system down, may the heavens fall. Justice be done, may the heavens fall. Those of you that say, well, this corruption's real, I've seen universities say that, but we can't expose it, it'll bring the whole system down. The system is death, it has to come down. I'm going to say it again. Criminal scientists funded by robber barons and royalty are putting poison in your food and water and building Trojan horse, sterilants, and cancer triggers into all GMO foods. You are under absolute assault. And if you caught me, say, at a restaurant, creeping up to your glass and putting some type of poison in it, I would expect you to stomp me pretty hard. Or there'd be something wrong with you. I know if I caught you putting something in my drink, I'd stomp you. Not because I'm Mr. Tough Guy, but I got a temper. You try to assault me, I fight back. It's real simple. So you're on notice, and hey, if you like dying, you like your wife and husband dying, you like your kids dying, I know a lot of you out there have had the government kill your kids, kill your family, kill your mama, kill your daddy, all of it. Most of you out there that have had family die from this stuff, you had your life shortened, you were killed. A lot of you have sons and daughters in the military who are involved in maintenance. They died young or they're super sick. They got kidney failure. You don't know why. The globalists killed them, and I think you should take that personal. All right, I'm going to your calls. Sean in Arizona, welcome. Thanks for holding.
Welcome. Can you hear me, Alex? I'm calling from the middle of a ranch here.
Loud and clear. Well, you sound like you're calling from next to me. Go ahead.
To make this point with you, since I talked with you last, and, you know, I've been in this movement since I was 16 or 17, as I've chatted with you before, and I've been listening to you for 2 years. But the key to understanding all of this, as you know, and as you rightfully say all the time, is eugenics. Because in reality, Mr. Jones, all that of which you talk about and what Joyce talks about and all the different facets of how they're undermining our freedom and have for decades and even a couple centuries, the people of this network, these are the minions of the Antichrist. And the problem is, and the tragedy in this country, being founded on Christian principles, is that this should be taught from the pulpit. The preachers should be screaming.
But we now have state-run religion because they tricked the churches to become these charities instead of being First Amendment churches. They trick them. Oh, you're supposed to sign this form now because you're a charity, and they trick them into the contract. Just like animal ID, premises ID tricks you to give up your property rights. It's all about tricking you into the contract. They're con artists, but a contract that's a fraud is still null and void. And yes, most of the churches are government funded now at the top and on record are spying on their flocks. If you're a new listener, just search the term clergy response teams. You'll see the documents, the newscast, where they admit your preacher is spying on you. Over 100,000 of the churches now, major churches, are actually spying on their flock. They've given manuals on how to deal with dissenters. We basically have like what the communist Chinese have, a government-run church in this country. And you're right, even if you don't believe in the devil, this might as well be the devil running this. It's that murderous, that diabolical.
Yes. A couple other quick points. You were talking about our forefathers, and I'm going to say the high English that they spoke. This has to do with Ron Paul, and I wish he'd say some different things pertaining to his foreign policy. But you and I both know that the policy of neutralism is what was started with Washington in his farewell address. And the globalists twisted that during World War I's time and turned that word into isolationism as a negative effect. But I have a copy of that speech. Anybody can get a little book. You can get it from Mount Rushmore with Washington's writings, including the farewell address. And you know what? it's in a high English, and I've been literate at a very early age. It's very difficult to read. I find myself reading over it many, many times and still not getting
and by the way, the globalists communicate. The globalists communicate in a quasi high English. They've even dumbed themselves down from the level. But yeah, you're right. No, it's hard to read, and they weren't doing it to try to impress anybody. It's that they're trying to show the complexities in language to really give depth to what they're saying.
The other thing I wish Ron Paul would explain more to those people. It was Washington who said, "If you want peace, prepare for war." He knew about a strong defense, but as Jefferson, the quote from Jefferson, as you know, is, "Let us no more. We don't want it." I'm loose now. I'm ad-libbing it, but basically stay away from the countries of Europe because they are nations of perpetual warfare. They understood that the Rothschild banks, the 5 banks of Europe, kept pitting one nation after another. And the tragedy is we become imperialistic.
No, you're right, Sean. Sean, I appreciate your points. They're excellent. We're going to break, come back with more calls in a long segment. But no, that's it. It was always empires trying to get other countries in alliances. And he was following what Switzerland had done, George Washington was. He said, hey, let's just stay out of it. Let's just be friends, sell everybody products. And they learned that in New York. It was a city that traded with everybody. And so it's the same thing again. Everything Ron Paul talks about is pure George Washington. And that's why they hate him. They hate what America really is and what made it great. Okay, well, somebody is in the bumper music. I sure didn't put this in there, but whatever. Doesn't matter. They're poisoning our water and our food because they love us, because they're the little control freaks that see us as scum animals that have to be killed. I'm going to go back to your calls, but Aaron just ran in with this Fox News report. Prostate cancer may be linked to birth control pills in water supply. Gee, all over the Western world, it's just causing the frogs, the amphibians, reptiles, and fish to develop cancer, deformities, and to be bisexual. And it's admitted that men all over the Western world have incredible estrogen levels, which is giving men prostate cancer, and men are growing breast and all the rest of it, and confusing their sexuality. And that's all admitted here. But the globalists just say that's the way it is. And, of course, it then gives women breast cancer because it causes all sorts of hormonal problems in different sexual tissues. But don't forget, Media Matters made a big joke out of it when I warned that it was reducing men's fertility and attacking our prostates and confusing sexual identity and making women go into puberty early and giving them breast cancer, hyperfeminizes women, feminizes men. They just said I was bashing gay people. And then they had all the big gay news sites attack me and say I hate them. Okay, look, I don't hate the frogs that have had their sexuality confused by this. I mean, I've shown you the Planned Parenthood, IMF, World Bank documents just a few weeks ago where they said they would put chemicals in the food and water to confuse your sexuality and make you not be attracted to women and to affect the uptake in your olfactory nerve through these hormonal imbalances. You know, the scent of a woman, the look of a woman. But again, it's like the Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. He's there trying to give them the cure, and he's like, they did it to you. I have the cure. And they're like, shut up. Throw the spear right at him. Or I guess you could use the Omega Man analogy, a remake of that with Charlton Heston. I tell you, that's one of the few things I savor is that I've interviewed Charlton Heston. I love Charlton Heston movies. Great actor. Okay, side issue.